Good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Dan Hiscock, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Warrant Officer Class 1 Virginia Morris. We welcome the veterans who have served, those still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome those members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the pool of reflection by visitors to the memorial. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem. If you wish to and you're able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It could also be a place that would help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament. Flowers of the forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the pool of reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Flying Officer Raymond Edward Norton Butcher. Raymond Butcher was born on the 25th of October 1917 in Katurning, Western Australia, the son of Edward and Muriel Butcher. Young Raymond attended Thomas Street School and Perth Boys School and was an A-grade hockey player with a suburban club. He worked as an insurance clerk for a few years before becoming a car salesman for Linus Motors Limited. He also served in the militia, parading part-time with the 16th Battalion, known as the Cameron Highlanders of Western Australia, and attaining the rank of sergeant. Raymond Butcher enlisted in the Royal Australian Air Force on the 3rd of March 1941, at the age of 23. Having had some early tuition in flying as a member of an aero club, after initial training, he began training as an air gunner. After attending wireless and air gunner school at Ballarat and bombing and gunnery school at Port Pirie, Butcher embarked from Sydney on the 13th of November 1941, bound for overseas service. As part of the Empire Air Training Scheme, he was one of almost 27.5 RAAF pilots, navigators, wireless operator air gunners, and flight engineers who throughout the course of the war joined Royal Air Force squadrons of Australian squadrons based in Britain. Having travelled via Canada, where he undertook further training, Butcher arrived in the United Kingdom in late December. In April 1942, he was transferred to No. 20 Operational Training Unit. Based at RAF Lossiemouth in Scotland, this unit trained night bomber crews flying Vickers Wellington British twin-engined long-range medium bombers. As well as being involved in training exercises, crews in operational training units often took part in operational missions. By late September 1942, Flying Officer Butcher had reportedly already taken part in 10 operational flights over Germany, including a large raid on Cologne. On the 21st of September 1942, Butcher was attached to the No. 101 Squadron RAF. He was a crew member in the front turret of a Wellington bomber that took off from Strelsau. On his way to the target area, the bomber was attacked by enemy night fighter and sustained serious damage. 2 crew members managed to leave the burning Wellington before it crashed. Sergeant Gordon Otter and Charles Harold managed to land safely and became prisoners of war of the Germans. The remaining 3 crew members died when the aircraft crashed. They were Flight Sergeant Edwin Rowe, Squadron Leader Victor Patterson, and Flying Officer Raymond Butcher, who was 24 years old. Today, Raymond Butcher's remains lie in Arborine Cemetery, Denmark, underneath the inscription chosen by his grieving family, a tribute in loving memory to our dear valiant son and brother. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my left, among almost 40,000 Australians who died while serving in the Second World War. His picture is displayed today beside the Pool of Reflection. This is but one of many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Flying Officer Raymond Edward Norton Butcher, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
Please be upstanding for the reading of the ode and sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old as we that are left grow old, age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Poziere or in the low scrub at Gallipoli with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director and staff, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.